I want to record the time that I spent the night at the Wulai hot spring in Taiwan. So, yesterday, yes, it was yesterday, I decided to go with my friends, my roommate, another French friend, and my roommate's friend. So, four of us in total. We went to Wulai, where there is a outside wild hot spring. And we spent the whole day there soaking in the hot spring. We ate different snacks that we brought, such as chocolate and bread. And then we bought fresh honey and we poured it on the bread. And we spent the day there just soaking in the hot spring, talking, enjoying the river, swimming a bit. I recorded a couple videos. And then we decided to stay the night. Now, I was at first hesitant to stay the night because, like, you may have noticed, I've been sick recently. And so I was worried about the rain and the cold and everything, but I thought about, okay, what will make a more interesting story or a more interesting life? And what's some lore that I can have that I can maybe tell my kids or tell my bro friends or this kind of thing? And I think having those moments in your life are extremely valuable. So I decided to stay, and to be honest, the whole night I pretty much soaked in the hot spring the whole time because I couldn't sleep too well, and I would get a little bit cold and I would get up and go soak in the hot spring. And there were so many like key moments throughout this whole time. Actually, I'm gonna pause it here because it's hard for me to speak right now. Good morning. I want to record my trip to Wulai and my time spending the night there before I forget. So this day started out pretty normal. I woke up and I was productive on my laptop working on everything that I'm working on now, kind of like making this. I was doing my website as well as editing some videos and things like this. Just a normal morning, having coffee, still sick, but it was a good morning. And then we left to go meet my friend. So me and my roommate plus my roommate's friend, so four of us in total. We went to Xindian, and then from there we took the bus to Wulai. And Wulai has a public hot spring in the river, and it's in the wild. And it was built by some of the locals there. They took a bunch of rocks and some cement and built an actual like hot spring area. And they have all sorts of like free amenities there. And it's all free and it's out in nature and it's beautiful. And there's a river. So you actually have to swim across the river to get to the hot spring area, which is a cool experience. And then you can, soak in the hot water and then soak in the cold water and go back and forth. And there's like other different small areas. And you can also explore up the river. And there's also like this little campsite area that looks really cool. It looks like an old quarry. And there's always some like old men making some tea. And they will always give you this free tea. And it's so delicious. Anyways, I really love this area in Taiwan, Wulai, if you ever want to go there. And they also have like this old remnant of some like ancient hot spring that they used to have there until like a typhoon came and wiped it out. So there's like this like concrete cave that you can swim inside. And there the water is like perfect. It's probably the hottest area. And I really enjoy this area. So we came there. And my friends wanted to spend the night. And at first, I was hesitant. I didn't really want to because I'm worried about my sickness. And it's raining. And I thought, being out in the elements and in the cold will make it worse. Which, to be honest, it probably did. But I decided, okay, like I have two options. I can either spend the night here with the boys, or I can go home and sleep in my bed. And I decided on the former because I want more lore in my life. I want more exciting events that I can tell my children and tell friends and tell other people. I want to have that very interesting lifestyle and to take those moments, take the opportunity to create some amazing memories. And so I decided to stay. And so basically, we would soak in the hot spring, we're talking, soak in the cold water, swim around, walk around, and at nighttime, there actually wasn't really many mosquitoes. During this time, I'm also like filming, practicing with my camera. By camera, I mean my cell phone. And that was great. And then for dinner, we actually ate 7-Eleven because there was no restaurants open nearby. And, it's quite convenient that, we're still somewhat in civilization and there's a 7-Eleven nearby. So we ate food there. But we also bought some local Wulai honey and some Taiwanese bread. And we poured that honey on the bread. And oh my gosh, it was so delicious. And it's something I wish I could eat more. Like, I really want to eat healthier, more wild foods. I'm tired of these cheap, like gross meat and oily, starchy foods, processed. I'm kind of sick of it. And it's starting to weigh me down in the literal sense and also the metaphorical sense. Um, so yeah, and then nighttime came and I would I didn't really sleep, to be honest. Like, I kind of like sat there, kind of like in a half rested state. And then I would get a little bit cold, so I would go soak in the hot spring and then go back to half resting. And I did this on and off until about 4 a.m. or something. And then I just gave up and I just continued soaking in the hot spring. And then the sun was just coming out and I was jumping into the water off of this rock, the cold water and the sun just coming out and the shock of jumping in. Wow, it's an amazing way to wake up in the morning. And then after that, I decided to adventure upstream. So I'm like walking on all of these slippery rocks and I went and found what I thought was going to be a deep pool, but it turned out to be quite shallow. But it was fun to walk up there and see. And then I also had this moment at nighttime when there was this like bug the size of my hand, okay? Um, and at first I thought it was a moth, so I was like not afraid at all. And it kept flying around me, like it was like attached to my body for like a good 10 minutes. So like I went to this rock to meditate, and this bug came, okay? And I'm like, why? Like, and then I kind of had the funny thought, like, okay, maybe it's just trying to like dry me off because actually it was like, it's quite big and it's flapping its wings so fast that the air feels like a fan and it feels like it's cooling my skin off. Like it feels like it's drying me off, okay? But and then I got a little freaked out when I saw its mouth. Like it has like this long ass tube, kind of like what a mosquito has. And so I thought it was trying to like suck my blood. I don't even know what kind of bug this is. I've never seen it before. But it was wild. And I was like, damn, okay. I kept trying to push it away, but yeah, it kept staying. And but during that time though, I it's hard to describe now in the aftermath, yeah, in retrospect. But like during that moment, I had like this profound experience where I felt really just so interested in nature. Like, I know if I just say it now, like in words, like so interested in nature, so connected with nature, or that just saying it doesn't have the same weight of the experience that I had. Okay, it doesn't do it justice to express how I felt. But I kind of felt like, yeah, like I had many moments during this trip being out in nature where I'm like, uh, more more interested in nature, I guess. Okay. So like for example, there was one time there was like an eagle crying. Okay, we don't know if it was an eagle, but some really beautiful bird singing like at 4 a.m., I think. And like it was just one of those moments where you're just completely captivated by the sound of it, and it sounds better than any other music you've ever heard. And you wonder what life was like for people back then, like just spending all that time directly connected with nature and knowing like what this bird sounds like, what this plant is like, what this kind of soil is like. Like basically, I don't think modern people are any smarter than people in the past. It's just the knowledge that we have is different. So like for example, if you take a modern person and you tell them to build like a wooden house, like would they be able to do it? And that's just a simple example. Like would they be able to create like a forge and make some tools and weapons and armor? Probably not, right? Can a modern person make a cell phone? I don't know. Like, um, these kind of thoughts were running through my brain. Okay. And I was just like even other moments like where I picked up the sand and like let the sand like dissipate in the water. Like the sand was like this hot charcoal gray, like black sand that was from the hot spring. And so like I scooped it up and then let it go. And the way that it just spreads, um, just, makes me think about like physics in the universe and just, it's kind of an exaggeration of a simple experience. But I started thinking deeply about like all of these things. And then back to the bug, I was really thinking like, I really wondered what was going through its mind. Like, what did it think of me? And like this connection between these two living organisms and even like bugs, like they're so small and yet they somehow like have behavior and they go about life and they survive. Like other animals and plants and everything, like just doing their thing is so impressive and it blows my mind. And so I was just having this like existential questioning this experience during this trip. And I kept thinking so deeply about nature and my own life. And then in regards to my own life, I kept thinking about what is actually valuable to me and how I get so caught up with society and, okay, you need to do this for your reputation and you need to go to this good college and you need to study and you need to get a degree and then you need to work a normal job and it has to be like something that blah, 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 blah. And you get so caught up doing all of these like goals and things like this that in retrospect, like don't carry any significant meaning to me. And it's not even something that I love. So I was thinking like, okay, what is valuable to me? And it's like, for example, on this trip, like I just brought like a mountain of passion fruit and just like ripping it open with my bare hands and eating it and like tasting the fresh, nutritious fruit inside. Like to me, that was such a joyful experience and makes me realize that like I really value like my health and fitness and meditation and being out in nature and my friends and exploration and learning and experiencing the world. All of these things bring tremendous value to my life and I love them so much. So I should be doing more of that and less of these things that people set up for you. So for example, I'm studying college, but I'm going to leave. And like the things that we do in college really doesn't bring any value or meaning to our life. Now, obviously, there are some, and I don't disagree with studying college, but if you had to compare like the overall effectiveness of it, it's so low compared to other options. And so that's my take on it. That's my opinion, at least. And I just feel so much more mature and have a clear understanding of what I want in life and how life really is. And I also really like these moments where I can sit there and be philosophical and think deeply about how things are. And so this is my experience in Wulai, and I want to have more of these spontaneous moments of reflection, I guess. So today, actually, I'm recording this, 2 days after. It's in the morning right now, and I'm going to the beach today. So maybe I will have a similar experience. And maybe from my voice, you can tell I'm still not better. I've been sick for so long. But yeah, so this is my Wulai trip, and my recommendation for people is you should think about what will give you or give your life the greatest lore, something that you can tell other people about. And even if it's maybe uncomfortable in the moment or more difficult option, you should still try to do it if you can. And that way, even if it doesn't go so well, at least you have something to tell other people. Otherwise, you don't have anything to tell. You don't have those little blips, those little dots, those little sparkles, I guess, in your life. And yeah, sparkles, weird word. Anyways, that's my take on it. And again, with this podcast, I just want to share like my insights and how I'm growing as a person. So I hope you find it valuable, and I hope you have a wonderful day today. And that is it. I love you all. Bye-bye.
In the darkness of the night, a hero emerging with a heart of fire and a soul that never falters. He sets out on a quest, a journey to the unknown, facing demons and dragons, carving out his own throne through the He's in